Are you Philip James Van Hamlin?
Yep, that's me. Hi.
All right, you need to move. You need to move over just a little bit for me to your right. Move to your right a little bit. There you go. Thank you. Now I can see you better. Okay, I have two files here: 22T02926FY and 23T00749FY. People of the state of Michigan versus Philip James Van Hamlin. Attorney Zabel, go ahead.
Judge, I only have one file.
One. I'm sorry. One of these is a bench warrant. The 2-2 case is a bench warrant. So we'll talk about that a little bit since we have it here. But the 2-3 case is the arraignment. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. Neil Zabel representing Mr. Van Hamlin. Your Honor, I met with him. I went over his constitutional rights with him, including his right to a preliminary examination within 21 days. Mr. Van Hamlin told me he understood his rights and waived the reading. Also went over Mr. Van Hamlin's felony complaint with him. Though he vigorously denies everything, he told me he understood the charges and the possible penalties and would waive the reading of that as well. Mr. Van Hamlin is on SSI, makes approximately $910 a month, would request a court-appointed attorney.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Van Hamlin, your attorney stated that he did go over your charges with you, the maximum possible penalties for those charges, as well as all of your rights. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just I'm deaf in this ear, hard of hearing in this one. We'll get there.
Okay, I can speak up. So your attorney stated he went over your charges, the maximum possible penalties for those charges, as well as all of your rights. Do you need me to read any of that to you again?
I know. I think something about 2 or 4 years or something like that. I don't know.
Well, do you know and understand what you're being charged with and what the penalties are?
Yeah, I know the cops. I know the cops assaulted me and abused me for no reason. I know that much.
Mr. Van Hamlin, today is the arraignment day. All I'm doing is arraigning you right now. What I need to know, I don't need to know what happened or what you say happened or what they say happened. I need to know that you understand what you're being charged with and you understand the maximum possible penalty. So yes or no, do you understand the charges and the maximum possible penalties?
Yeah, I believe I do, for the most part.
Well, what does for the most part mean, Mr. Van Hamlin? Because I'm not going to, you want me to read those to you again?
Right, I'm not trying to be difficult. All I know is he says something about 2 to 4 years or something like that.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. What? Yeah, I'm going to read you your charges and the maximum. That's fine. We're going to enter a not guilty plea for you today. I'm going to reread you the charges and the penalties, though, just to make sure that I am sure that you understand what you're being charged with. Believe me, Mr. Van Hamlin, you are not the first person to say that they are not guilty of what they're being charged with. So you just need to let me get through the arraignment process, Mr. Van Hamlin.
I'm sure, Your Honor.
You need to let me get through
That's fine.
The arraignment process.
That's fine.
And then you will be able to have your next court date. Let's see. This states count 1. Philip James Van Hamlin did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Michael Roper, a police officer of Police Department that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his or her duties contrary to MCL 750.81D1. That is a felony punishable by up to 2 years and or a $2,000 fine. That is assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer. There is a second count of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer that states that Philip James Van Hamlin did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Corey Graves, a police officer of Flint Police Department, that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his or her duties contrary to MCL 750.81D1. That is the same felony, 2 years, up to 2 years, and or a $2,000 fine. There is also here, Mr. Van Hamlin, a habitual offender third offense notice that says, take notice that the defendant was twice previously convicted of a felony or attempt to commit a felony in that on or about April 25th of 1994. He was convicted of the offense of breaking and entering a building in the 10th Circuit for Saginaw County, state of Michigan, and on or about November 10th of 2022, he was convicted of the offense of attempted resisting and obstructing in the 67th District Court for Flint, County of Genesse, state of Michigan. Therefore, defendant is subject to the penalties provided by MCL 769.11, which is twice the maximum sentence on the primary offense or a lesser term. The maximum penalty cannot be less than the maximum term for the first conviction. Okay, so now I have made sure that you've been read all of those again. In regards to your rights, Mr. Van Hamlin, do you need me to read you your rights again?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know and understand all of your rights?
I think so.
I think so is not an answer. So I will go ahead and read you your rights as well. Give me just a moment. Okay, Mr. Van Hamlin, I need to make sure that you know that you have the right to remain silent, that anything you say orally or in writing can be used against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present during any questioning consented to. And if you do not have the money to hire an attorney, we will appoint you an attorney. And in fact, I am going to do that today. You have the right to have an attorney with you at all court proceedings, and you do have an attorney here with you today. You have the right to have a probable cause conference set not less than 7 days or more than 14 days after today's arraignment date, and a preliminary examination set not less than 5 days or more than 7 days after the date of the probable cause conference. You have the right for me to also determine what form of pretrial release may be appropriate today, if any. And there are your rights. Okay, Attorney Szabo, yes, I will enter a not guilty plea on Mr. Van Hamlin's behalf. We will set this matter for a probable cause conference and preliminary examination. And we will appoint court-appointed counsel as Attorney Szabo requested. Attorney Szabo, what would you like to say in regards to bond? And before you do that, let me let you know that Judge Marsh has a $10,000 cash surety bond on the previous assault, resisting, obstructing file that she has. So just so you know that.
Okay. Your Honor, Mr. Van Hamlin did not have an address to give me. Told me he's not on probation or parole. I told him he can test those, but his prior convictions are listed on habitual offender information. I would request a personal recognizance bond on this case, but that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, well, one, Mr. Van Hamlin won't be getting out of jail, I don't believe, today, because he does have the cash surety bond on the second case. But on this case, certainly, I do not believe a personal recognizance would be appropriate, considering the history and considering these charges, which mimic some of his prior charges. So I'm going to issue a, let's see, I'm going to do $15,000, 10% for each count. If and when Mr. Van Hamlin is released from jail, he is to be placed on GPS tether. He is to check in with our pretrial services department. Mr. Van Hamlin, while you're on bond with this court, you are not to use any alcohol, any recreational marijuana, or any illegal controlled substances. You are not to possess or purchase any firearms or any other dangerous weapons or ammunition. Your next court date is a probable cause conference on July 20th, 2023 at 11 o'clock a.m. Preliminary examination date is set for July 25th, 2023 at 9:30. Now, Attorney Szabo, this file has been assigned to me, Judge Hammond, and Circuit Court Judges Judge Bell, but I have a feeling that it may be consolidated and may be sent over to Judge Marsh since she has the prior case. But we'll leave it as it is for now and let the clerk's office do what they do. Okay, anything else, Attorney Szabo?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Van Hamlin, you're all done. You can go.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me talk.
You're welcome. Okay, next I have Octavius Terry.
Terry.
Re-regulate my voice.
As I figured, you're guilty till proven innocent anymore.
All right, you guys gotta keep it down.
Yeah, right, bullshit. Guilty till proven innocent.
Keep it down, please. Keep the noise level down, Mr. Van Hamlin.
Yeah. Put me in jail. I'm already in jail.
Terry. Okay, are you Octavius Terry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.